I could do a countdown. 3, 2, 1. I am here with the man himself. I'm going to call you Mr. Oh, look at this. He's bobbing and he's weaving. He's shadow boxing. Have we ever seen Gareth A. Davies like this before? No.
No,
But
it's
you always
in
see this on October Red Boxing.
it's in honour of Ben Whittaker.
Ah, yeah. You said I was fangirling with him earlier. I'm happy for Ben Whittaker, but
Yeah.
welcome to all the viewers. Before we start, I've got to give a massive thank you and shout out to all of my subscribers. They've recently gone up. I've just hit 7,000. We've been going since December 2020. We are February 2024, and I can't do this without the guests like yourself, Gareth, but the subscribers, the ones that have kept it loyal and they keep my channel growing. All of you, the conversations that we have, the comments that you leave, I really appreciate the lot of you. It is live, George, but let me just say good morning to Hazel. Hazel is a boxing fan. She's always at all of the fights, a beautiful woman. So let's shout out Hazel. Kenrick out here, good morning to you. Jay Beats, good morning to yourself as well. Danny, I hope that you've got the kettle on. As you know, Gareth A. Davies is always late. He's such a diva. And
Are you saying this, or did one of the fans say that?
no, I'm saying it.
Oh,
I'm saying that you're always late. You do this to me all the time, and then I feel bad, and I think, is he going to disappear? Here we go. Boxing pound for pound, Jack. I hope you're all right. Jack's one of our regular listeners as well. Good morning, GAD and Abz. Saw GAD in Saudi at Riyadh airport, sporting a Saudi scarf over his neck, strutting around like he owned the place. Winky emoji. What was you doing out in Saudi, Jack? He gets about, our Jack does. Interesting. Here we go, George. He's shook to be banned by the Fury clan. Even Simon Jordan says it. Is that why you are Team Fury? Should we start off there? Should we start off with some controversy? Because I know you're not afraid to speak your mind, Gareth. Talk to us about your relationship with Tyson Fury. You know, because you are quite pro Tyson Fury. But well, that's how we see it, the fans see it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it.
How am I with Tyson Fury? Absolutely fine.
Would you say you're biased towards him?
No, it was me that caught his eye.
Behave. Was you the bitch with the pan?
Yeah. No, let's not go there, because that nearly got very, very out of order. That
Well,
I don't think he did mean Tyson's wife, Paris, but it came across.
it came across like that.
It did. I don't think he meant that. I don't think Agus is like that. But I understand the anger at the time. How am I with Tyson? Absolutely fine.
How is he? Because I mean, I was looking at the timeline of it. I think it's probably a good place to start, even though it's sort of like old news now, as we've had the rematch date set. But I was looking at the timeline of everything, and there was some rumours. It started off with, Jay Apataya being out there sparring, I think 4 or 5 rounds, and he mysteriously disappears back off to Australia. And then, a couple of weeks later, we see, we hear about the cut. We see some leaked footage that looked as if it was filmed back in the 80s, or at least forwarded several times to different people. Why we lost the quality of that. And then obviously Tyson coming out and saying, obviously he's had his eyes cut and the fight will be off on the 17th, but rescheduled to May. So when you found out about it, sorry, Gareth, and if this is a repeat for everyone that's listened, I don't always listen to everyone else's channel, so I need to hear it from Gareth himself.
Well, I couldn't believe all the conspiracy theories, to be honest. I mean, it didn't take long for the footage to come out, and it didn't take long for the cut to be shown. But there's those people out there that don't wish him well, and they think he deliberately does things like that. It was absolutely ludicrous that anyone was suggesting that he'd done it deliberately. You could tell that he was in the shape of his life. I mean, I do catch up regularly with people in his team. I knew that he was in amazing shape. I knew the Jai Opataya thing, just to go back to that, was nonsense. It's since, I think, the idea that Jai Opataya was hurting Tyson Fury in training is nonsense.
Oh, do you?
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, I think it's more likely to have been the other way around. But and as you know, Jai Opataya is injured now.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah. Jai Opataya was injured on the same day that Fury was injured. Believe it or not.
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but he weren't there, was he? So
No, he was
interesting.
back. He was back home. Yeah. Spencer Brown revealed that yesterday. And look, I keep up with what's going with Tyson regularly. It's been more difficult because he's in camp in. No, I don't think it was Tyson who injured Opataya's boxing pound for pound, Jack. And we want to know what you were doing in Riyadh, by the way. So revelation, please, on your next message. Boxing pound for pound, Jack. Look, it was preposterous. He was in the shape of his life, the biggest fight of his life. Every time, I remember people doubting. I go back a long way with Tyson Fury. Remember, I mean, I was at his debut in 2008. I've known his family a long time. How am I with him? I'm okay. I'm okay with him. It's hard to get into Tyson's camp at the moment, anyway.
I'm not surprised with
Is
people
it?
leaking out sparring footage.
Yeah. No. I think they put that out on the day. Oh, what you mean in terms of the nonsense that was being spoken?
The cut, the elbow or
No.
whatever.
I think they put that out straight
Oh, did
away.
they?
Oh, I think they did.
That
Yeah.
was them.
Well, I
Okay.
imagine it was. But no, I mean, I think that was evidential. So, and it was important that was put out. But look how quickly it was dealt with. That's what I thought was impressive, because it wasn't like there was a week of speculation with us having to think about it. And when was the fight going to be retuned until when was it going to be redone? It was done. It was just done really, really quickly. I thought it was magnificently sorted out, and put back on track. Yes, it was a very busy Friday and Saturday on a personal level, because when something like that breaks, I don't want to be taking my information from the internet. I want to be taking my information from the source and from people who are deeply involved with the camp and with the team, and who are actually making the moves. Because at the end of the day, these are the people whose job it is to do this. For all the speculation and all the kind of round the houses stuff that goes on, it's inevitable that the people that know are the people closest to it. So that's the toughest bit. First of all, is going straight to Tyson Fury's people in camp, Abz, October Red, and finding out exactly what's gone on. I mean, I didn't know about the head guard, first of all. Then I did know about it, saw the footage. I mean, I think I was doing Al Jazeera within a couple of hours. I was doing several interviews, a big piece of the Telegraph, a bit of radio stuff. It was just non-stop. I even redid something for a documentary on Tyson Fury called Battle of the Baddest that's coming out. Had to redo an interview on breaking news. This has happened for the documentary, so it was exhausting. I think it was from the minute I found out. I was about to head out for an evening in Cambridge, and I think I found out at about 4:00, and I think I finally pushed the laptop closed at about 9:20 that night. It was
Non-stop.
it was a deluge. And I think in those times, you've got to keep an eye on what the kind of general chatter is. But I didn't believe that Tyson Fury would deliberately injure himself. I don't think he's got anything to fear in himself about Alexander Usyk because he knows he can beat him. It's a tough fight. He's been doing this all his life. They said it that before he fought Klitschko that he'd struggle. They said it before the Wilder fights. I even had concerns. Remember talking to Ben Davison, who was trainer at the time, about was it the right time to be stepping straight back in with Deontay Wilder? But people have always had these doubts about Fury, and then he comes out and he produces something amazing again. You know,
When we talk about doubts, on one of these that was really looking forward to February, the undisputed fight in February. But what it is, Gareth, it's not that people are, to put it frankly, it's because Tyson Fury has got the reputation of the boy who cried wolf. He says that he's going to retire. He says that he's not going to fight this person. There's always something going on. So when we know that the Usyk fight, whoever pulled out of it or whatever, we know that this was scheduled to happen or should have happened before. It didn't happen. And there's a pattern. So when us as fans, and this is me just being honest, as a fan, I'm not a journalist like yourself, like you've said several times. So as a fan, I'm looking at it and it's like, it's the boy who cried wolf. How are we supposed to believe him now? And that's kind of like the initial, when the news came out, there was no footage, there was nothing. There was the implication that obviously what he said about David Hay cutting himself. And then it's like the tables have turned now. Now we don't believe you. And it's that kind of momentum.
But it's the logic, but it's the logic as well. Yes, Peter cries wolf. I get that, but it's the logic of knowing someone's in camp. This is what they're earning. That it's the biggest fight of their life. They've been out there training for that long. There's an anti-Fury rumor mill that was going around as well. Oh, I've heard this about him in sparring. I've heard this about him in sparring. But I was hearing the opposite, that he was doing amazingly. And I think Fury and Usyk, it's become more of a 50-50 fight since that performance of Fury's against Francis Ngannou. But having said that, I still see Fury as the favourite in the fight. An on-form Fury against Usyk gives Usyk a lot of problems, Notwithstanding, Usyk is a fantastic boxer as well. So, but the logic of if you're in a $100 million fight, you aren't going to be pulling out without any good reason. There was a good reason why. I don't think October 28th.
Yeah.
I don't think he was ready for December the 23rd. I get the reasoning behind that. And last year, the narrative's been played on this a little bit. Usyk and his team played the game as well. Yeah, they played the game as well.
Elaborate on that. When you say play the game, what do you mean?
They were waiting for Saudi Arabian money as well.
Okay.
That they were waiting for Saudi Arabian money as well for, I know it's been elongated, but and Fury is unusual in the way that he does things. Like you say, he retires and it's just talk and it's just bipolar or whatever it is that makes him do that. But I think there was no doubt in this case that. And that it didn't seem logical to me that he'd be pulling out of the fight. It just did not seem logical, because he doesn't fear fighting Alexander Usyk. Why would he fear fighting Usyk?
The narrative is he's not scared of fighting. He's not scared. He's a boxer, but he's scared to possibly lose. I think that was a thing that was kind of like what was put out there you know, we talk about narratives. There's narratives in boxing all the time. There's loads. I mean, there's loads of people in the chat going on about it now. But we talk about him being scared to lose, not necessarily to fight Alexander. I mean, what do you think about that? And
No,
this
he
is your
doesn't. He doesn't
experience.
believe he's going to lose, does he? So why would he be
But
scared to lose? Well, I mean, obviously, boxers they do have a fear of losing. I get that. I mean, I remember spending years talking to Joe Calzaghe about it, and that's one of the reasons he retired.
okay.
But you know, because he couldn't handle that. I'm losing that. 46-0. He just couldn't handle it. But I don't see as a 2-fight deal.
Yeah.
So you can rectify it anyway, even if you did lose. Anyone can lose anyway. Um, the you know, I think people base it on Fury saying, I can't lose to a middleweight rabbit and all that kind of stuff. I think if he lost fair and square, I think you'd find him to be a good loser, and they'd want to come back and win the second fight.
Okay.
I don't. There's a lot of bravado and talk, isn't there? Look, I mean, I think he's got his haters. They'll always be there, and that's the way it is. It's to do with
Yeah.
standing, fame, money, the way his career's gone. Yeah. The love there is. Sorry, someone started gardening outside. The love there is for Usyk. There's a lot of very pro Usyk supporters, and rightly so. But it's a real freak. This is a real freak situation, and I think freaky things happen to Tyson Fury.
Freaky things happen in boxing all the time. What did you think of David Hayes' response? Because obviously he was all those years ago, he was at the other end of that. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, you're against Fury. No, I'm not, because I'd love him to win. It's just, I've got to look at it from like a fan's point of view, everything that's going on, and say, look, this is why the public are saying that this is a bit, iffy. So throwing over to what David Hayes says, what did you think about his comments?
I thought he was very magnanimous. I mean, I covered that, of course, 10 years ago. I mean, I remember writing about it in detail. We were all very excited about David Haye against Tyson Fury. It was a very exciting.
Take us back, Gareth. Take us back.
Well, I mean, David Haye, and Adam Booth's revealed this since. David Haye was playing the quiet guy against Tyson Fury, and letting Tyson Fury be the villain in the build-up to that. Again, there was a lot of conspiracy theory. The internet wasn't the same then. Social media wasn't the same, and so it's sometimes called a cesspit now. It's everything comes through this weird prism of social media now, where everyone in the world is commentating on anything like they know what they're talking about. Like then they aren't getting it from the source. I mean, God forbid what it would have been like then with David Haye's eye, because people were rumoring that it had been cut. They still say it had deliberately been cut. And it was a real shocker at the time. And you did speculate on whether, but it was a different kind of speculation. It was on the phone or it was in person. I know social media existed, but it wasn't as it wasn't like a raging storm that it is today. That it was a tsunami of opinions, like about Fury and his cut eye and the gash in his eye. There was a tsunami of opinions on the internet. But I can remember Tyson Fury, calling him names and saying he'd pulled out and he was running scared. What I will say, and it was a shame we never got that fight, because I think it's one of the missing fights. A bit like, they just missed each other, Haye and Joshua, Haye and Wilder. But David's body was broken to bits by then. That was the problem. He was shot to bits. But he wasn't shot, but his body was was breaking up, as we saw against Tony Bellew. But what I would say is that what I noticed about David in the last couple of days, obviously he's commenting on Instagram from his island retreat, isn't he, in Costa Rica or wherever he is that I thought he was very generous and magnanimous towards, there was a benevolence in his words towards Tyson Fury. And I think it's a very grown-up David Haye saying, look, this happened to me 10 years ago, but here I am now. And what I want to say is, I wish you well, Tyson Fury. I hope the eye recovers in time. And I hope that you get back in and do the business. And I thought that was very big of David Haye. But, you know, listen, there's three pillars I live by in my life, and I think it holds for most things. And I haven't really ever met people that don't agree with these things. And that I do think you are who you mix with. I do think you reap what you sow, and I do think you should be yourself. I do believe in those three things. You know, beyond kind of spirituality or faith, all those things that define us, and that make us, even though it's grey today, look up at the great beyond and wonder why we are, you know. And I think all these things happen for a reason. And if Fury doesn't end up facing Usyk for any reason on May the 18th,
there'll be £10 million down.
there'll be $10 million, down for the.
That's it. Sorry, dollars. Yeah.
Yeah, £8 million for Alexander Usyk out of Tyson Fury's purse. I don't know the deep workings of Tyson Fury's mind, as he did say to me on the couple of days before he fought Klitschko. You know, who has the right to mooch around in my head? You know, and he's a very bright man, Tyson Fury. There's a lot of haters, as I say, for him, but he's a very bright guy. My dealings with him are of a very interesting character who is one person when he's boxing and another person, you know, when he's at home, you know, with Paris. And I think it's 8 kids now, isn't it? 7 or 8 kids. I'll always have time for him. You know, it's as simple as that. You know, I don't think he's a bad person. I think he's brilliant for boxing. I hope he's okay, because, you know, judging by what Spencer Brown was saying, he was very down when that happened, and you can imagine he was. He's been out in Riyadh for however long it is, 6 weeks, hasn't seen his family. Right, it's a very long answer now I'm giving you. It's not a conversation. But basically, it is what it is. I do hope it happens on May the 31st, May the 18th.
May the 18th, yeah.
It affects all of us. People that have bought tickets, people that have got non-refundable hotels, people that have made plans. I mean, I had almost planned to go out for a month because there's a PFL Bellator event. There's an event I'm involved in Abu Dhabi, I think it is. There's an event back there for March the 8th. It really throws all your plans up into the air. And it was clear in this case that it was a freak accident. In my view.
Yeah, I just wanted your thoughts on it, Gareth. And the thing is, journalist or not, you know him quite well. You know him better than all of us. Like you said, there's 2 sides to him. There's a side that we see, and there's that personal side, which you obviously know better. I will always think, even though it may not be obvious, that all of us have biases, or all of us we like certain people more than others. Not that we don't like others, but we may show that side that we, you know, it looks like, you know, they're the favorites. I do it myself, Gareth. So there's no way that I'd sit here and say, just because you're close with Fury, I'll forget Gareth A. Davies, because at the end of the day, we're all human. You've been reporting on him since the beginning, so you've watched him all the way through his career. So I just wanted to hear your take on it. And yes, your side will be pro Fury. I'm the fan that sits away from it with that story and will listen to your side of it, because I know that the social media, it can be quite vicious, because social media is vicious. It gives all of us, the power to sit at home, safe space, on the train, in the car, whatever, and spew out what we really think without no
Listen,
real
I,
consequence.
I also like the democratization of opinions through social media. When it's done in the right way, it's amazing as well. It's done some amazing things. Don't get me wrong. I agree with you. But I don't think. I listen. It's a very interesting point you make about, because I do try and not have favourites. But I tell you what changes is how people are towards you and your access that you get from them. Like, people
Correct.
don't realise that I really like Anthony Joshua. I really care about him, and his success and his career. Because I've said 1,000 times I think Fury beats Joshua, it doesn't mean I don't want Joshua to succeed. I'm giving my opinion about who I think will win the fight. I think Fury has made his mark as the number one heavyweight in the world. I think he deserves to be the number one heavyweight. Just on what he's done and the way he's done it and the size of him and what he's capable of and his abilities and all those things. Anthony Joshua, for me, is the number 3 heavyweight in the world at the moment, by dint of his last performance. You could argue that Zhili Zhang and Joseph Parker maybe inhabit that spot, but we shall see. We shall see what Anthony Joshua does against Francis Ngannou on March the 8th, with data on Francis Ngannou now, to see whether he can put any doubts to bed. He should win that fight. But I've got a few doubts myself about how he'll handle him, as I had with Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury. I don't know how many times we spoke in the build-up, but I always said that Ngannou will be dangerous for at least 10 minutes. At least. Do not call it an exhibition, because it's going to be a fight, because he's got an extraordinary narrative in his life. He's got something special that comes from the great beyond. There's something in his DNA going back thousands of years that allows that man could have stood in the center of the Colosseum in Rome 2,000 years ago and gone,
Gladiator.
now we are free. That man, Francis Ngannou, could be the man that said that. He could have been Gladiator, Now we are free. And that man is enjoying a freedom which, I'm going to swear now, he's fucking earned. Yeah, he's earned, because he walked out of Africa. He swam across the ocean. He was imprisoned for being an illegal immigrant. He slept on the streets, on the subway, le métro. He slept on the floor of gyms. He wanted to be a boxer, and he found an MMA gym. He became the UFC heavyweight champion. No one's ever knocked him out, by the way, with 4-ounce gloves on. No one's knocked him out. He's there. And he was digging in a sand quarry when he was 10, 12. Imagine your son's digging in the sand quarry to bring enough money home to feed you all, because there's 9 of you sleeping on the floor. That's why, it makes me sad when people write other people off. Like, I was up till 5 a.m., which was why I was slightly late today, because I was watching the Lopez and Keyshawn Davis fights. The Lopez Jermaine Ortiz and Keyshawn Davis Jose Pedraza fights. And I was watching them. I saw the nerves last night. It's not normal. This is an inherently dangerous sport. Yes, the guys are built to do this, but weird things happen in and around boxing, because it is a weird sport, and it's at the top end. It's as much a business as it is a sport. And I don't know whether I've said this. I use these 3: timing, money, ego. In the heavyweight division, when they align, when the money aligns, the ego disappears and the timing's right. I don't know if I've given that analogy to you before, whereas those 3 things together as a trifecta, if you like. I'm waking up now. I'm starting to wake up now.
This is like sermon. This is like Sunday service. Good morning. We are in church on a Friday.
Well, I was only awake 5 minutes when I got on here because I felt so guilty because I was 15 minutes late. But
15. Try 20.
all right, 15 or 20 minutes. God, I wouldn't want to be late for a date with you. You'd be
No, you
gone.
wouldn't.
Boom.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would.
yeah, but what if we were having champagne on the Amalfi Coast or?
I'll be taking the champagne back to where I am, and then you could sit on the
Down to
Amalfi Coast or
Sorrento,
whatever
down to
on your
Sorrento.
own.
Anyway, enough flirting. Right.
Yes, we must behave this morning online, Gareth.
Well, we never do flirt really, but because we work together as well, and I do need to get you working for me again.
You
At an
keep
event
saying
soon.
this, broken promises. A bit like Johnny Nelson. If we're going to go into it,
I was
Johnny
about.
Nelson breaks his promises as well.
Does he?
He does. He let me down.
What for the show?
For a watch along. He said he was going to come on for the AJ watch along, and he didn't. And he
I'll do a
ignored
watch
my
along with you
call.
if you like. Is that?
Would
Do we
ya?
do it in person or
No,
do
but
we do it?
it's online, but you'll be there, so you
Yeah,
can't.
yeah. I'd have done I needed a watch along last night for. I know we're digressing and being a bit random, but I could have done with a watch along with someone last night with Ortiz and Lopez because it was a Thursday night, and for
Yeah.
some reason the rhythms. I mean, my circadian rhythms are adjusted to stay up late. Well, they're all over the place, but I adjusted to stay up late. But I could have done with someone to watch along with last night, and I had no coffee. And I decided to sit with my laptop in bed in the end and watch it. And it's a disaster. You've got to sit, watch on a sofa,
You've got
have
to
the
be awake,
tequilas out, and
alert. Yeah.
because once but anyway, where were we?
We were talking about Ngannou. We were talking
Oh yeah,
about,
Ngannou. Yeah, I mean, do not write the guy off.
Are you saying that AJ's is potentially in trouble with him when they go
No.
head to head in March?
No, I think Joshua should win. Joshua should win and probably will win. But
So Gareth, may I ask then? Sorry to interrupt, but I will forget if I don't ask. Anthony Joshua does a bit, and he does, but he always gets a bit of bad criticism. So if he goes in there and he stops, like we said, Ngannou's never been stopped. This could go to points. AJ could get stopped. However,
yeah,
hypothesizing on Anthony Joshua getting this emphatic win, this stoppage, what does that then do for the stock of Anthony Joshua?
well, it's great. I mean, the danger for Anthony Joshua is getting paid really well. Ngannou's a player in the division because it's something you want to watch. You might not think it's accession to the throne time in the heavyweight division in this Game of Thrones, but what it is a fun fight. It's a fun fight with two giant men. It's the Rumble in Riyadh. It's knockout chaos. Ngannou almost has to knock Joshua out to beat him. I don't see him outboxing him. He didn't outbox Tyson Fury, but what he did on the eye test was knock him down in the third with a counter glancing left hook, and he beat him up in the eighth. He gave Fury problems in the eighth round, but Fury won that by a point or two. I know it was a split decision in the end, wasn't it? But I don't think Francis Ngannou won that points. I don't see Francis Ngannou beating Anthony Joshua on points.
Okay.
I think the danger is that Ngannou catches Joshua.
Yeah, I think someone just said that in the chat.
Yeah, the danger is he gets caught. So, well, I don't know if I don't know if AJ gets clipped. He's done, but it depends how he gets hit. We've seen him recover before when he's been hurt, notably against Klitschko. He didn't against Ruiz, of course. Yeah.
Can I just give my thanks to the chat? Because you know what? Like I said, it's credit to these guys. We've managed to pull in a very split audience. We've got Team Fury and we've got like Team AJ. So I just want to say thank you to you guys in the chat. But please, can we keep it respectful? I don't mind the to in and fro in between you guys, but try and keep it respectful. But I appreciate I'd call it the diversity in the chat, because this is what we want. We want boxing fans to come together to be able to debate who they think is the best and why they believe so. And we've got that here. So shout out to all of you guys in the chat. But like I said, please keep it as respectful as we can. And remember as well, Gareth hasn't got to come on a live. I've asked loads of people to come on the lives and they prefer to do the Zoom, the recorded, so it comes out later. It takes a lot of somebody that's in the public eye and will often get ridiculed and criticised by the public to come and do a live. So all I ask is that you please keep the comments respectful.
I haven't seen any disrespectful
No,
ones
I'm
yet.
just saying it's a caveat. I like to put it out there because I want you to come back. And if there's people on here being disrespectful, then that can put you off from coming back. So that's the only thing that I ask for, guys.
The only person that's been disrespectful to me this morning is you, really.
Well, I'm not banning myself from my own conversation, am I?
No, because you gave me a haranguing for being 20 minutes late.
Yeah, but you was though. You do this all the time, and then people are like, "When's this starting?" You know. But we digress. There's so much.
We've done these 5 times now. I think I've been late 3 times. You are right.
Oh, at least you're taking note of it.
Oh no! I don't do it out of disrespect for you. It's just I think every time there's been a reason. Like twice, I was up working till 4 in the morning when I was late the last time. So it was always been early in the morning. And today, I literally had no energy earlier because I'd been up till 5 watching the. I'm working on the
Teofimo. Then we can touch on that. The Teofimo, Lopez, and
can I just say about the heavyweights? But just before we
go
finish,
on. Yeah, sorry, go on.
What I do think, given what you're saying, that it's making big guns today, are we sharing the proceeds of this as well?
When I start to make big proceeds, Gareth, I may share them with you.
And I was going to use you as a camera person the other day and film together, but Frank Warren and Joe Joyce left. Remember?
Oh yeah.
I needed significant interviews with them, and there wasn't time to. I'll always employ you to do it. Shaky camera work and anything.
Shaky. I'm going to get defensive now. I know my camera's
I'm only teasing. I'm totally teasing you. I stopped there. Let me just finish on the heavyweights.
Yeah, go on then.
But what I'd like to say is, by March.
Yeah, go on. Yeah, I'm listening. Sorry.
Who's that? Are you talking to someone?
Yeah. I'm just frowning. I'm frowning. Okay. But go on. Yeah, by March.
By March, by the middle of March, in 4 heavyweight contests. I'm sorry, by the middle of May. I mean. Hopefully, if we do get both men in the ring and fit, what happens if bloody Usyk gets injured now? We will have seen a complete shake-up in the heavyweight division in 5 months, in the course of 5 or 6 months, and I do think the speed with which Fury's team dealt with this scenario, and particularly His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, how he got on and was very public with it 24 hours later.
Brilliant.
He said there's a forfeiture. You've got to look money, timing, ego again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at what's happening. Let's celebrate. We're not waiting months for a resolution to be found and the belts being split again. And they've done this quickly, by the way, by May, 3 and a bit months, to keep the IBF belt intact, to keep the rules intact, to have an undisputed title. There's an appetite for it. His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh has been amazing in this, in getting it over the line. And Fury has got a very experienced team around him being involved in this again. To see them all together on Saturday night, I was at home monitoring 2 events and watching that on Ariel Helwani's MMA Hour. I thought hook, line, sinker was absolutely dealt with. And it put all the speculation. There's always speculation, but there's to see that resolution, to see that conflict resolution, if you like, dealt with so emphatically and with such alacrity, for me, was phenomenal. As someone that's been in the industry a long time, I just wanted to point that out as well. That we were talking about all those scenarios. we could have waited a month for that new date to be announced, and people were saying
Minimum.
June, July, first of
Minimum.
all,
Yeah.
minimum. There is an appetite to get this done. Let's celebrate that it is. And also, that man, who is such an influential figure now, probably the most influential figure in boxing right now, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, he sat there and said, I am staking my reputation here that these are no lies. This has truly happened. I want to get this over the line. All of that should stop this conspiracy theorists, in my view.
Cameras in the gym. I know what's going
Yeah,
on. I've risked
of
my
course he
health.
does.
I'm sick. I need treatment, but I want this to get sorted. And you guys will pay out 10 mil if you mess around.
Yeah.
To me, that was fantastic. So credit to Ariel Helwani to get that out on his channel, because that was, everyone was like hanging in the. I don't know.
I had a chat with Ariel after that for 20 minutes, because he and I are very good friends, go back a long way. And we got on a video call after it. And I said, oh, well done. You handled it, because I thought you handled it very well as well.
Yeah, he did.
I thought, no, Ariel's very, very good. As I said, I've known him. I've been friends for 20 years with Ariel, and I've been on his show a couple of times, and he's a great guy. Obviously, he's more of an MMA guy, but he's got an interest in boxing now.
Yeah.
But he's terrific. He's a terrific journalist, and I thought he did a great job of it on the day. But so did Turki Al-Sheikh, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, just to manage the
damage control.
He was the one running. No, but he was the one running that telecast, that dual cast. Putting his hand across Tyson when Tyson was getting really annoyed with Egis Klimas.
I'm sorry, but this is what I like about Tyson, his character. Because he was getting ready to really let go, and then His Excellency was like, "Hold on a minute, just calm down. But we're gonna sort this. Yeah. Let's not start arguing on the internet." Yeah. Which I thought, to me, it was very, because I was watching boxing when that was being broadcast. I was doing a live watch along, so I was getting messages. Have you watched the Turkey interview? Blah blah blah. And I was like, I'm gonna have to watch it after the watch along. But credit to him, because he's the one that's bringing it together. And I mean this in no disrespectful way. If it was left to the other powers that be, this might not have been rescheduled so quickly. So it's good to see that happening. But we're going to draw a line under that, because we could talk about that all day. Teofimo Lopez. I mean, speak to us about that fight. You've watched it. I was in and out of consciousness trying to stay awake. But
you were as well, were you? Right, yeah.
I tried to. I failed miserably with the American times. So Gareth, talk to us about that fight, because I'm hearing now that it was close. I'm hearing that the opposition won. I'm hearing that Teofimo's attitude clearly accepts that he lost, from his crying in the ring, etc., etc. But
no, I thought he won 7-5. It was a close fight.
7-5.
Yeah, I thought he won 7-5. I thought it was a close fight, but it wasn't the great fight we were hoping for. It was a very technical match. It wasn't a come forwards battle. I thought Jermaine Ortiz was quite defensive.
Okay.
And Lopez. Again, Lopez looks better against someone coming forward. Lopez's chart is like this. Lomachenko, even though Lomachenko didn't get started for 6 rounds. George Kambosos, overconfident, knocked down early, couldn't recover in the fight. Josh Taylor, I was there live, amazing performance, amazing, the best we've ever seen him. And now we get a very mediocre performance against a very decent fighter. And I'm sorry, he doesn't, even though he's pushing for a Terence Crawford fight, he doesn't match up to Terence Crawford. I think Devin Haney beats him as well.
Speaking of Terence Crawford, he tweeted 4 hours ago.
Did he?
People got to understand that the game is called boxing and not fighting. Hit and do not get hit. But exactly. I guess a lot of y'all don't know what that means, because when y'all see a fighter boxing, the first thing y'all say is he's running. and that was from Terence Crawford 4 hours ago.
Yeah. Well,
So I
he's
think
got a
he's
great
ready to the
ability.
opposition.
He's got a great ability to be able to stand in the pocket and clinch, box, evade, counter. You know, like the great boxers have been able to do. The Floyd Mayweathers, the Pernell Whitakers, the James Tonys, the Roy Jones Juniors. James Toney. I've been watching a bit of recently. Sometimes I just get on and just watch guys again, and just trying to compare eras and compare what people were. And wow, he on the inside he was so beautiful. It's like I was comparing Ben Whittaker with Nazim Hamed, and I went actually back to look at Willie Pep, who years ago won a round without throwing a punch, because his evasive movement during the round was so amazing. Yeah. And, there's great things in people's ability to hit and not be hit. Ben Whittaker does it. I know he's a I know he's a favoured Birmingham boyfriend of yours, so not boyfriend, fangirl. You're a fangirl of him. He's a boyfriend, isn't he?
I
No,
would
you
always
guys are friends. You're friends, though, aren't you? You're friends.
look, when it comes to like the West Midlands, I will tend to like steadfast with us because we're often a forgotten area in the UK. So
Really?
it's nice. Yes, I think so. So it's
Really?
nice to see some of the boys coming out of the area, really making moves in the boxing world, and I love to see. It makes me proud to see these boys, putting their face out there. And credit to Ben Whittaker, he's got everybody, like I said the other day, in the US talking about him. He's gained that like appreciation and that fandom from the US because they seem to like that flamboyancy. And it's sad to see that, even, people have more high critique of him here. But yet still those over the pond are like, wow, we love this. And it's that contrast yet again with the fans of boxing. Do we like that quiet, respectful boxer that goes in there and still gets those emphatic wins? Or do we want somebody with a bit of character, somebody that's, jumps outside of the box that we like to put people in?
Oh, no, listen, we are potentially seeing, he's had his viral moment, those 100,000 followers that suddenly grew, the resonance that he had with likes of Shaquille O'Neal and
Shay Jackson, Ice Cube's son.
DJ Diesel, as I know him, has. Yeah.
All
Shaq.
right, okay.
DJ Diesel. Or Shakur Stevenson celebrating him. No, I think, that there's the only thing I disagree with in his showboating at the moment is the pirouette. Yeah.
I don't think that's allowed, is it?
No, exactly. Because I remember when Manny Pacquiao fought at Dallas Cowboys Stadium, he did the double punch one day. We're bound to
That's
see
what I
that
was thinking
from
of. Who did the double gloves? Yeah, it was Manny
Yeah,
Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao. That was an amazing event. An 80-meter screen. It was like going to a spaceship city. That was extraordinary. Dallas Cowboys Stadium. Jerry Jones's team. But yeah, look, I slightly critique Ben's showboating, but I do it to him as well. I'm not out there haranguing him for doing it. I do it with him. I think he's a fantastic young person. I think we might be seeing the beginnings of greatness. I cannot wait, and I hope they throw him in early against Dan Aziz. I wouldn't mind seeing him in against Dan Aziz already. I mean, they won't, but they'll probably wait a couple more fights. But I can't wait to see him fight Joshua Buatsi, Anthony Yard, Craig Richards, and all these guys. It's probably only a year away. Yeah, it's about Ben Whittaker, Neo. I was starting to see the comments pop up. I wasn't always noticing them, but no, he's like you say. When you go back and study, form is always there. Willie Pep was weirdly similar in his own era. Sideways. That's why I was doing that jiggy jaggy movement when we first came on in honor of Ben Whittaker. Like you say, he's round the corner from you, and He is a fantastic fighter. You're right. He's round the corner from you. So, you form an allegiance with people.
And that's why I was trying to get that about you with Tyson Fury
Yeah,
across
yeah,
earlier,
exactly,
because it
exactly.
doesn't matter. You will have a little soft spot for certain fighters, and I think in the journalistic world, like I said, you've had the qualifications, you've studied. I haven't, but at the end of the day, we both still appreciate the sport. And if you get that access, you get that treatment from the fighters, you will, and you get on with them. You have that, like, I don't know, that chemistry between you. You will draw to them. That, it's human nature.
Yeah, but he's not the only one. It's like, but over the
No, I've
years,
got a few.
when you go on the, no, exactly, me too. But over the years, when you go on the road with people, for example, be that Nassim Hamed or Joe Calzaghe or Ricky Hatton, Amir Khan, Carl Froch, those guys, when you went on the road with them and when you covered their careers in other places, you you did develop a relationship with them, and you did have a closeness with them. It might be as a group, but sometimes it might be as an individual. I think less so that the with the heavyweights now and with social media, they do a lot of their own media.
They do.
So that's changed in that way. Yeah, I just saw the comment on Ariel. No, Ariel has a massive reach, by the way, and they wanted to do it in that way. But you're right; it was a great choice for Ariel to reveal it on that show with that dual cast. It was a brilliant way of doing it.
So I guess we can move on from Ben Whittaker. March the 8th is the final date that I want to cover with you at the moment. We're hearing that Jai Opetaia's injured, but I think he was on the Tyson Fury undercard anyway. Do you think that there's some possibility that they could shuffle the fights around? And Eddie's implied that they will announce the Queensbury versus Matchroom, or Matchroom versus Queensbury 5 versus 5 around that date. Are you thinking about any fighters that could possibly be on that card, any matchups? And Eddie sort of like alluded to the fact that there's still time to sign fighters. Is he going to be signing another heavyweight? We've got Emmanuel Odeazi from Germany, 258 fighter that fights on the next gen card on Saturday. What are we thinking, Gareth?
Well, I'm about to speak to him in a minute. In about 12
What, Eddie
minutes.
or Frank?
No, Johnny Fisher. I'm about to do a Zoom with Johnny Fisher in 12 minutes' time. I said at 11 o'clock. If that's okay, because we'll have done an hour.
Let's let you be on time for Johnny Fisher. Let's make sure you're on time for that.
Thank you. I think him against someone like Moses Atauma, I'd like to see. I think that'll be a good fight. Moses Atauma and Johnny Fisher. Would you not want to watch that?
God, you know what? I didn't even think of it.
Yeah, but I think the way they're going to do it is they're going to choose.
That's not a bad shout, Gareth.
Well, thank you very much, Abz.
Interesting. That's got the old brain cells ticking.
I thought by what Turki Al-Sheikh was saying was that they're going to pick 5 weight divisions. Hearn will choose his 5, Warren will choose his 5, and they'll just put them together. They won't be matchmaking them. They'll just choose a fighter in that weight division to go against the other, and then they'll just reveal the 10 fighters who it's going to be. So I think that's the way they're intending to do it, which will make it even more interesting in my view.
Yeah, I like that. I'm
interested. And obviously, it's on June the 1st, isn't it? It's going to be on June the 1st.
Which is Beterbiev and Bivol, which is a fantastic fight. I've often said it. I back Beterbiev to come through with the win, but that's just me having a look at it. But
I do at the moment as well. I agree with you.
All right, do you? Gosh, we agree on something?
Yeah. Can I just say as well, last night,
Yeah, go on.
Keyshawn Davis, because we didn't mention it.
Oh God, yeah, he pulled out Teofimo after, or Tip. They're arguing after.
He. Well, what they're doing, it was a brilliant entrance by Teofimo Lopez, by the way, the showman with the circus entrance.
Oh, that was what. See, I've got to catch up.
The sword swallowing, it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I think Keyshawn Davis to me, because what I'd like about him is he can take punches, he can take it and give it back. And what I love is his community values in Norfolk, Virginia as well. He's, and as he said, he's off the spliff now as well, because he tested positive for marijuana after his last fight.
I remember.
And he's given up the spliff, which he said he was using for mental health issues. People smoke spliff. It can actually not aid them with their mental health issues as well at times. But he really impresses me, by the way. He really, really impresses me. Now, I think he's going to emerge as a player within that Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia mix as well. I don't think it'll be very long. He's 10-0 now. He stopped Jose Pedraza, who is 10 years older than him at 34 in the 6th round. But he was very, very impressive. Very impressive, by the way.
Right, then to finish off, I'm just going to read out 2 more comments. Guys, if you've put some comments in and I haven't been able to answer them, I do apologise. We're pushed for time due to Gareth's lateness. Anyway, first comment is Neo.
Abz, we've done an hour. We've done an hour.
Neo Cloud Marts. I do like this comment. It seems like boxing has took back control of its platform, because for a while, I thought boxing had lost control of its platform to YouTube fighters. I like that one. And then finally, from one of the regulars, boxing pound for pound Jack, Yard v Smith, Fisher versus Ituma, Nick Ball v Warrington, Adelaide v Jordan Thompson, heavyweight,
Yeah, nice.
Hamza Sharan versus Shiraz versus Felix Cash. Interesting choice. Choice.
I've seen Yard and Smith. I've seen as well. Ball and Warrington, or Ball and Joe Cordina.
Cordina,
no, sorry, not Joe Cordina. He's too big. Or Lee Wood, Ball and Lee Wood, Feather and Super Feather. But there are some lovely matchups there, definitely, and it'll be very entertaining leading into Beterbiev and Bivol. And like you, I think Bivol's likely to win that. I see him as a marginal favourite. Sorry, Beterbiev as the marginal favourite.
Yeah.
I've just seen him live, of course, in Quebec City, working out there a couple of weeks ago, and I just think that he's got something where he's got gears. It's those gears he's got, and he doesn't just look to attack in 4 or 5 punch combinations. He goes for 6 and 7 and keeps going. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, he is unbelievable. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Once again, you're very, very much valued here in the community. Like I said, thank you for keeping the comments as respectful as possible. We will do this again. I don't know when, but just keep an eye out. Get notified on October Red on YouTube and October Red Media on Instagram, October Red UK. And Gareth A. Davies has got his own social platforms as well, self-entitled. Thanks once again, guys. Gareth, anything from yourself?
No, lovely to see you, Abz, as always. October Red, stay ready.
Stay ready.
Always ready.